From the top all the way to the bottom, what comes down must stay down, and what comes up may come down. I believe in the thought that everyone is equal, the evidence of every individual, the almighty works of God, the almighty works of balance, the truth that will define who a person really is, the righteousness of family wisdom, influences, values, and guidance. But the belief that you don't have to be yourself for success is misleading. I believe in the power of love that holds us together. I believe in the works of others that will inspire us. I believe hope cause moments of despair, ruination, and separation. And I believe in the forces like the balance that are called upon to make the entire human race come together. A reaction is a warning with a reaction that affects a person one way or another. Whatever reaction occurs is meant to transpire. It'll lead oneself closer to their destiny. Let's start off with the almighty paragraph. This is the almighty paragraph. We need to take a look. But when the light is so distracting, sometimes you get in the crash. And other times, You find yourself to get away from your destination and the right place because there's something in the way. And there's some type of distraction that's getting upon you. So you end up crashing or focusing on what you shouldn't. You end up stopping yourself. All because there's something that may not last forever. But you bring it upon yourself to ensure that it will last as long as you want it to. But from that point on, what is meant to fall falls. And if you want to fall down with the events in your life, then so be it. This is the almighty paragraph. Thank you. From the top all the way to the bottom, what comes down must stay down, and what comes up may come down. All that, all the time we hear about this from the top all the way to the bottom. What comes down must stay down, and what comes up may come down. What is this? This mystery that puzzles us of what does this chant mean? From something on the top goes to the bottom. It's like the world is universe. There's a top and a bottom in everything. The top of the ruler has more measurements than the one on the bottom. But, so we always say, be on top. We always say, people, you're on top of everything. You're on top of your tasks. So that's when you are on the top. When you're at the bottom, it's not necessarily, it's not always a bad thing. But sometimes we make it seem pretty bad. But from the top all the way to the bottom, it means that this is the world that is head to toe everything. So you look up and you look down, from top to the bottom. What comes down must stay down. See, if you were to have, for instance, the waters, and if they were to fall down, they stay down. Unless you pick them up. And then what comes up, it may come down. So you pick something up after it goes down. Or maybe you even pick yourself up when you go down. But then afterwards, you might come back down. Or you might put yourself down when you go to sleep. There's so many ways to interpret from the top all the way to the bottom. What comes down must stay down. What comes up may come down. What is this? That everything has to stay down, not come up. But sometimes they come up, right? We see it. Sometimes you come up. But it says you're going to have to come back down. At some point, we're all going to have to go back down. Come up, you can go up sometimes. And most times you can go up. But sometimes you have to go down. And then you have to stay down. Unless something brings you up. It is up to you what brings you up. And it could be someone else, or it could be yourself, or an event or object. So many ways to get back up. But you can end up going down. And it's unfortunate. But it's the truth. We always see, in life, that we can be surrounded by toxicity or toxic, like the acid, like the poison, where sometimes you see something that it says don't touch, but you want to touch it. Yeah, no, yeah. You say don't touch, and then you touch it. You just want to, didn't? Or sometimes, if you're like me, you see a cactus, and then you always, want to feel the thorns and see how much thorns can get in you. Back then in my home country, I used to be a therapist. And occasionally, I help out people. And occasionally, they would always say the same things that, they're having problems because they are focusing on something so much. And they are constantly thinking about some things. And I say, you should not be thinking about those things. So many things that they could be thinking about, and it plagues their mind, what they have. It's kind of eating up their mind. And it's like a storm. Occasionally, they'd be storing in their mind. And I would tell them, you should not be on this. You should not be focusing. But they say, I can't help it. I really can't help it. I have to do this. I have to get this the right way, the way that I want it to be. This is not what they say, but it's what they mean. Usually when we feel bad, it's because something is not going our way. And something's not going our way. And if you cannot, you should not try and make it go your way. You have to let it fly. And it says, so be it, right? So be it. When they say don't touch, like how I said earlier, and you start touching, in life there's some situations that we might have where it says don't touch, and then we want to touch it. You cannot touch it. Because sometimes when something says not to touch it, it's for a good reason, like cactus or like poison. You want this, don't drink this. It's bad for you. And then some people say, this is colorful. This is a pretty colors. A toothpaste, it smells good. You're going to start eating it, and then it's poison. What are you going to do? ¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué estás preocupado? Sí. What are you going to do when you have the poison? You put this on yourself. There are so many warnings that happen in life that say, do not touch. You see thorns? Not going to touch it. Just because you see a gun, doesn't mean you have to start shooting it. Unless you're a madman. Some locos. See? But what is the point? Is so many of these patients that I used to tend to, they'd always, they just are clouded in their mind with so many of these things that they should not at all have concern about. They should not worry of these things, and I say, you cannot do anything about it. And so many times, there's situations that we can't just do anything about. And it might just be for the right reasons. Best thing you can do is learn from it. The best thing you can do is let it die. You can try, if you try to help, if you try to get into something that's not good anymore, expired food, if you try to get into expired food, it's not going to taste good. And I am speaking with examples because it's a way for all of us to understand. It's a way for each and every one of us to understand that these examples that I speak about, you're not actually going to go and touch cactuses or eat expired food. But it happens in the situations of our life, and it could be so many things, so many ways. But we just, usually as people, we forget what to do and what we are doing. We should not be forgetting. And we have to acknowledge to ourselves what is going on in this situation. And you cannot try to rip up the scars if you have, a rash on your body and you want to scratch. You're not supposed to do it. Even though it feels good, you're not supposed to do that. For the right reasons, the scars will never go away. If you see a flower is growing, a flower will do its best to do what it will do to grow. It is not our job to ruin the flower's growth, but sometimes we might try. Does a flower know what we're going to do to it? No. The flower is not aware of what we are going to do with it. So some of us might be bad, others might be good, but the thing is, the flower will keep doing what it must do in trying to grow and produce for itself. Photosynthesis. It's trying to keep going. No matter what we are doing, it's going to do its best until it can't do anything anymore. That might be the thing to do for us people, but sometimes you're just not supposed to get in the way of things that you're not supposed to. It's a problem. We obsess too much as people. We obsess, and then we regret because we obsessed too much on something that we knew we couldn't do anything about, but we just go ahead and go speed in the car and cause a car crash when really, in truth, you did not have to go in the car in the first place. Sometimes it's just not to do. You're not supposed to do everything that you see you're supposed to have. Because as people, we are constantly growing, just like the flowers. And other people are growing, just like the flowers. And even though some bad things will happen to us in life, we're going to continue to grow. And we're going to grow from these things that pull us down. We're going to find ways to keep growing in life, in many ways. Some people like that because they keep growing. You can be a really bad criminal. You've done bad things in your life, but you can grow to go past that. There's so many ways for you to allow yourself to grow and to move past the bad things that you've done in life. You're not supposed to obsess. You're not supposed to get upset when things are not your way. What you have to do in life is just do what you have to do. And what you don't have to do, you don't do. Never do something that you don't have to do. Because you're just going to cause a potential accident. Most car accidents, if not all car accidents, are because of something that someone shouldn't have been doing. That's why it's an accident, because of something they shouldn't have been doing. Sometimes they keep driving, they drive too fast, turn over, because they're driving somewhere they're not supposed to go. And, it begs the question, is this what you are supposed to be doing? Or you're not supposed to be doing this at all? You're not supposed to be trying. Or they're supposed to be there in the first place? Is the question that we put in our mind. Many of us, when we obsess, it is toxicity. Toxicity. It is acid. It's poison. It's not good for you. It's bad for you. It's going to ruin your growth. You will not be growing with poison in you. Poison is not going to help you grow. It's going to eat you up. There's so many. You can, like drugs. You do drugs, you're going to get cancer. You develop bad habits in life, you're going to be miserable. If you obsess over something that you shouldn't, you're going to get miserable. It eats up your mind. And you're going to be like the patients that I used to tend to, where they say, this is always so sad because in their mind, it's just a mess of obsession, a mess of I wish. It's a mess of what do I do now? What do I do? How can I fix this? You're not supposed to touch things that you can touch. There's so many solutions, but one of the best solutions in life is the balance. The balance. Find your balance in your life, and once you do, you'll be able to grow and overcome. Balance is something that will not eat you up like drugs, but it'll be something that gives you purpose, something you feel you can live for, and allow you to grow. Always. Always. So help yourselves is the lesson. Help yourselves. Always help yourself. And remember, from the top all the way to the bottom, what comes down must stay down. What comes up may come down. Remember, there are so many ways to come up. You will go down in life plenty times, but there's always ways to go arriba. Thank you. Moment of sorrow, so you can stand up and think to yourself anything that causes sorrow, anything that you regret. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now go ahead, everyone, because we're still in a pandemic. We cannot give you chips and water, so you have to get your own chips and water. So go ahead and get a bag of chips and a bottle of water for yourselves. As we know, it may be the first and last meal we shall devour. For some it will burn, and for others it will open the emptiness. But together, the chips and water make us come together. For every tear is laughter somewhere else. What is one's misfortune, someone else's misfortune. But when we all come together, let's show each other our love. All things will pass. Show each other your love. We are all people under the sky, and we all deserve the best. Thank all of those in our lives for all they have done for us. And this occasion will come together for them and help others to come together. What someone gets, someone else will get. The balance over here has come together. Eat chips and drink water. When the balance has come together. As we acquire our new lives, we learn to accept our differences and cherish every moment of our lives. We'll come together, help others to come together, live a new world, live our best life. The balance has come together. All of us have come together. So you may go home. Thank you. You're welcome. This is the